last Saturday, JW and I did a song together, and we're going to do it again. I think it's a cute song. So
the history of this is that I have an English mother as well. She's not been to England, but her mother was from Bedford, England, and made a point always to let us know that. And my mother is 92, so we kind of intersect there. And the other intersection is that some of you know I wrote a song about my cat. And when my mother heard this, and we were discussing it at dinner, she was slowly sipping her tea and kind of chewing on this idea, because here I had written a song about our cat who's less than 2 years old, and I had never written a song about my mother who's 92. And so she pumped me with information about the music business and songwriting and how that works. And then finally she looked at me over her cup of tea and she said, "You know, you could write a song about your dear old English mother and her tea." So there it was. And on the way home, this is what I need a D, and this is what we came up with. On my first day of grade school, the whole class laughed at me, for I arrived at 9:30 and not so fashionably. The teacher led me by the ear down to the principal. I had to give accounting, for I had no note at all. 'Twas my dear old English mother and her tea. Well, first she pours some milk in, and a spoon or two of sugar, and a tiny taste determines temperature. And if I've left the bag too long, the tea is way too strong, and I have to start again and do it over. On the first day of high school, well, I was way too late, and the teacher caught me in the hall, and she left no debate. And she had made it very clear that tardiness was bad. So I blubbered and I stammered, and this is what I said. 'Twas my dear old English mother and her tea. Well, first she pours some milk in, a spoon or two of sugar, then a tiny taste determines temperature. And if I've left the bag too long, the tea is way too strong, then I have to start again and do it over. On my first month at college, my papers were quite late. My advisor sat to counsel me, and looking at the date, he asked me for a reason I worked improperly. I answered him sincerely and answered honestly. 'Twas my dear old English mother and her tea. Well, first she pours some milk in, a spoon or two of sugar, and a tiny taste determines temperature. And if I've left the bag too long, the tea is way too strong, then I have to start again and do it over. On my first day at Starbucks, my bus was very late. The old alarm had failed me, my pants ripped on the gate, and the boss who met me at the door just pointed at the line, where customers all frowned at me as I began to chime. 'Twas my dear old English mother and her tea. Well, first she pours some milk in, and a spoon or two of sugar, and a tiny taste determines temperature. And if I've left the bag too long, the tea is way too strong, and I have to start again and do it over. On my first day of marriage, I jumped out of bed quite late. I forgot to make the latte, 2 shots, non-fat milk, with sugar-free vanilla, grande for my mate. And she asked me quite directly why my snoozing was so great. Now, I knew the answer to this was very critical. So I answered, I dreamt that I was making tea for dear old mother. 'Twas my dear